Now, mindset is one of those funny things that people talk about a lot, but generally speaking, we don't always know exactly what they're talking about, even when they're going on and on about it. First of all, I want to say mindset, as far as I'm concerned, is probably about 80% of the equation of making any lifestyle program work and last in the long term. But when I say 80% is mindset, what do I really mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you've come to a point in your life where you actually see the positive changes, or at least you see how they could actually make positive benefits in your life. When you get to that stage where you truly can have a vision of a different version of your life in the future, and that's a version that's a lot better and one that you prefer, you're almost the whole way there with mindset already. So if you're already there, I want to let you know that you're just a few steps away from truly getting those results. Now, if you're not there already, I want to let you know that it's really not the end of the world. You've got plenty of time to work on mindset, and mindset is one of those things where a small, very small amount of investment can actually go a really long way. And in fact, if you haven't worked on your mindset before, you're probably going to find that small little investments actually make huge differences for you. So this is actually a really, really exciting time for you. And I'm so glad that you've chosen to have me involved in this time and in this journey that you're going on. Now, because mindset is so important, what we need to do is we need to think about how can we include mindset in our day-to-day life. And of course, this can come in lots of different ways. Some people talk about saying things to ourselves every morning while we're brushing our teeth. Other people talk about looking in the mirror and saying certain things to ourselves every single morning. Other people favor writing down goals and looking at them every week, or maybe writing down goals and sharing them with a close friend and having that friend check back with you every week or two to see if you're still on your way to getting those goals to be your reality. Now, I want to let you know that there's a sort of a hybrid that I like to use, and it involves a variety of these little techniques. But you've got to remember that you don't need to devote hours and hours per day to this stuff. This kind of thing is really small time increments, but it can have a huge benefit for you. So one thing that I really like to do is I like to get up in the morning, and before I check Facebook or check email or turn on the TV or read a newspaper, I spend just 5 minutes writing out a few of my goals for the day. Now, the easiest way to write out goals is in a personal way, so you're talking about yourself, is in a positive way, so you're talking about the change that will be, rather than I don't want to do this anymore. And also talk about it in the present tense. Now, when I first heard this about the present tense, I thought, that's a bit funny. That's someone telling me to kind of make believe for the day that something is true before it's actually true. And I didn't really like that. The way I think about thinking about things in the present tense is that actually if you think in terms of a lifestyle, or if you think in terms of a role model perhaps, and think that you are actually becoming that person, or you are actually becoming that future version of yourself, then that's how it can actually be something that's true in present tense. Let me tell you what I mean. If I start thinking about training for a marathon, for example, and I think, wow, training for a marathon, there's all this stuff I need to do. I need to really pay attention to my food, and, I'm going to have to run quite a bit, of course, and all of these other little bits and pieces. If today I feel like I am a person who is training for a marathon, that's true right now today. But if, on the other hand, I think about I am running a marathon in 6 months' time, it doesn't really seem to have any effect on my current day and what I actually do. And so that's the difference that I want to kind of give you that insight on. So when I think about if I'm wanting to be gaining muscle, for example, my goal is that I am gaining muscle today. And that might mean that I do a workout, it might mean that I eat a little extra protein, all these other little things that it might mean. But what it means is that it's true for me today, that I am gaining muscle today. And there's a whole host of other things that you might be able to write down in the present tense. For example, rather than thinking, I aim to lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks, or probably 10 pounds in 4 weeks with this lifestyle. But if you're thinking, I intend to do this for the future, it doesn't really have any impact on the now. So instead of that, you could be writing down, I am a person who is losing fat today. And that has a huge impact on how you think about things, and also what your lifestyle is like and the little choices that you make during the day. Now, there's some research that shows we make some kind of huge number of choices every day. It's 2,000 or 5,000 little decisions, and we don't even think about those choices. But guess what? Part of our brain is thinking about them. And so what we want to do is let that part of our brain know that this is the direction that we're going in. This is how we see ourselves today, not sometime in the future. You don't want to be thinking about how you'll be this trim, lean, fit person in 60 days or 90 days or in summer or anything like that. What you want to be thinking about is today. You live a lifestyle that helps you lose fat. So think about it. Today, you live a lifestyle that helps you lose fat. And that could be one of your simple goals that you write down in the morning and just think about for a moment. Now, I know I just talked a lot, but if you think about how long it'll actually take you to write out that sentence and think about it for 10 seconds, you can see you're still going to have some loose change, maybe even from a whole minute. So it's not a big thing to do, but it does take that little push just to get started. So however you find that the easiest way to do that, whether it's a little pad, a notepad by your bed, a notepad in the bathroom, for example, maybe in the kitchen, maybe you put it in with your cupboard where you actually store all of your food, whatever you need to do to just have that little push to turn it into a habit. Now you can make a new habit in something like 10 to 21 days. It's not that hard, but you do need to help yourself along the way until you get it to be a habit for you. Now there's a few other things that I want to talk about today, so forgive me if I look down off the camera for a minute, but of course I've made a little list here because I really want to make sure I don't miss anything with you in this introductory video. It's incredibly important to me that you feel great about starting this lifestyle because the people that I've helped personally with this lifestyle, people I've coached, friends, family, and people that I've met at the gym, of course, working one-on-one with them, I've really learned that it's right when you get started that you need to feel good about the thing that you're starting, about the changes you're making, and about what direction it's heading in. I don't want you thinking that you need to lose weight because, the doctor said this, or, look at me, I'm, this shape and I want to be this other shape. It's all about feeling good. And so what we're going to do today, actually, part of this video, is we're going to talk about what you stand to gain from actually living this new lifestyle and getting the results that you want to get. So I'm just going to check my list for a second now. First of all, of course, it's important to think about what you can achieve over a period of months. Because of course you want results today, you want results in the next week, you want results in the next month. But realistically, if you've got a bigger sort of goal, it's probably going to take a few months to get there. Now this isn't to say that you're not going to get results along the way. It's all about getting results along the way because results add up together. It's the accumulation of a result from week to week that gives you a big result, even over a few months. So one of the interesting things that we find is that you'll probably overestimate the result that you can get in 1 week. Most people do. But on the flip side, you'll probably underestimate the result you can get in 3 months. And that's a really important thing to think about. Now, you could be like my friend who, I'm not going to name names, but for a few years now, she's been looking for a fantastic, fast way to lose weight, or to be fit, or to be healthier. And she's been looking and trying out different things, and she's very frantic doing all these different things. But she's been trying and she keeps changing every month or two. She's doing a new thing. Now, if she'd used a lifestyle approach where, for example, the results don't come as quickly in the first few weeks, but the results keep coming maybe for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the track, where would she be today, 3 years later? That's an important thing to think about because although you want fast results and you want to see that the lifestyle that you've chosen really is a good one, and I guarantee you it is, but of course you want to experience it for yourself. Although you want to see that, you also want to see those results coming in. And I really understand that feeling because I've totally been there myself. So I want to let you know that almost everybody who follows this lifestyle gets results. Now, everyone gets different results because every body is different. But at the end of the day, everyone gets results. The only exception to that is if you have a pretty serious pre-existing health condition which interferes with how you burn fat, how you store fat, and that kind of thing. And if you do have a condition like that, you probably know about it already, and so you know what I'm talking about. That's not to say that this lifestyle can't help you be healthier, it's just to say that fat loss may be a little more difficult for you because of that condition. So the next thing I want to talk about is mindset. Now I know I just mentioned mindset and how it's this funny thing that everybody talks about, but really mindset is a key to long-term success. Most of the strategies out there can get you some results in the first month, 2 months, 3 months. You've probably tried a few of them. I know I've tried lots of them. And I've seen results over a few months. But after a while, those results, they tend to wear off, or you find a reason why that lifestyle isn't really for you anymore, or life gets busy, right? And things change. And all of a sudden, those results aren't hanging around like you'd like them to. Well, a lot of the reason for that is mindset. Of course, certain strategies work better than other strategies, and Complete Body Fat Control is based on a lot of scientific research and a lot of good, healthy information about how your body actually stores and burns fat. And you've already seen a little bit of that by now anyway. But realistically, mindset is so important because you have to be comfortable with the new you. You actually have to be comfortable and feeling good about the person that you're changing into. And I know that sounds really funny. You tell me, look, Luke, who wouldn't be happy, comfortable, confident, much happier even, with a new me, a new life, a new body, new energy, all this kind of stuff. But the thing to think about is that even though in theory you would be happier, more energized, etc., the reality is that any change probably means that you're going to lose some things. Now, losing things isn't always a bad thing. You might lose the habit of watching 5 hours of TV per night. But guess what? If that's comfortable right now, and if that's maybe a way that you share time with your partner or with your pets, or a way that you feel connected to the world because of what you watch, or because you like to learn, and that's a way that you learn, then that's actually something that you might be giving up because you might change your lifestyle around a bit. Now again, that's not to say that you're going to be in the gym for all of those 5 hours, most definitely not. I'm just giving an example of something that you might actually give up in order to have the changes that you want. So it's a little bit about thinking about your priorities and how they kind of mesh in with this lifestyle. Because although you might see, on the surface of things, that a change like this really would be fantastic, and let's face it, everyone thinks that, there might be some other things a little deeper down that might actually rank a little higher on your priority list. So it's really worth having a think about that. Maybe when you've got some quiet time to yourself, maybe even do a little bit of writing about it, because you might find that there are priorities that are actually more important to you, and these could have been creating a block for you that you haven't actually been able to get through, even if you've tried other strategies that should have great results and that should have results that last a long time. Now, another thing that's really important is goal setting. And I know that's one of those phrases, it's like, oh, goal setting, geez, the last thing I want to do is hear about goal setting. So I'm going to keep this really, really short for you. Goal setting is great to do. It's fantastic. It doesn't have to be one of those weird 80s cassette tape things where the guy tells you the 12-step plan and you do this and you do that. It doesn't have to be like that at all. Goal setting is simply thinking about what you would like in your life. And I know that sounds so easy and so simple. And you think, well, why doesn't everyone do that? Well, the reason everyone doesn't do that is because everyone's so busy with their routine. And if their routine doesn't include what they think about having in their life regularly, the reality is that they just never do it. And in actual fact, some studies have shown that maybe only 3 to 5% of all of the people out there actually have goals or actually even know clearly what they want in their life. So if you start having a think every day, let's say every morning, about what you'd actually like to have in your life, rather than just dealing with life as it comes to you, then you're already in that top 5%. And guess what? That top 5%, they get the results that you want. So you'd be in good company if you start proactively thinking about what you would actually like to have in your life and what would make your life better and more satisfying and just a more enjoyable experience for you on a day-to-day basis. So have a think about that as well. I think it's really important, and that's all I'm going to say about goal setting. It's important that you find a way to give yourself time every day. And this can be 20 minutes, 10 minutes, hey, 5 minutes I'll take. If you've got no time in your life right now for yourself, 5 minutes is better than 0. In this period of time, you can use your thoughts to do all kinds of amazing things. And the reality is that if you can use your thoughts to create a picture in your mind of where you'd like to be in the future, and that's a little bit about that kind of goal setting, thinking about what you'd like to include, but also just what that life is like in general. If you can take 5 or 10 minutes every day to do that, you'll probably be amazed at how your life starts changing in that direction. If you get focused on what you want to be coming into your life, and if you create that vision in your mind, then in actual fact those things really do start coming in. And you don't have to believe in magic and fairies and pixie dust for that to actually happen. You can just think about it in terms of your brain gets a little alert set in it, almost like a little reminder, so that when it sees anything relevant to what you'd like to have in your life, you get a little reminder that goes off in your mind. And before that, you might have passed it by, because your brain is taking in so much more information than what you're actually paying attention to. And that's the reality, that you're probably only paying attention to about 1%, probably less, of what comes in. So you need to set up that focus, and if you like, set up a target so that your mind knows subconsciously that when it sees one of these things that's related to what you'd like more of in your life, that it actually lets you know about it rather than just tossing it out with all the other things that really aren't that important for you to know about. So have a quick think about that as well. Now, when you're doing all of this thinking and you're visualizing, what you'd like in your life, it is really great to write this down. And it doesn't have to be a huge essay, it doesn't have to be another War and Peace book about how you'd like your life to be, but do try and include a few little specifics. So if you're going to write about, living in a great house, or if you're going to write about having a great body that's full of energy, include a little bit of specifics, a little bit of details, because it helps you imagine that. And the more you can imagine it, and the clearer that picture can become, the more likely it is to actually really be a part of your life in the future. And it might happen in the near future too. So I want you to be ready for some of these changes. So really, realistically, I want you to be your own biggest supporter in this. You know that you've got my support. Now, of course, I believe in you. You've taken this first step to get involved in this program. And I can really tell, even just from that step, that you actually have that mindset already, even if you're not totally aware of it right now. The reality is that if you've gone ahead and taken this first step, that somewhere inside of you, you know that things are going to be better and you know that things are going to be great. Now, I expect that you might have just a little bit of trouble finding that, but pretty soon, even in the next few days, I really do expect that you'll get some clarity on this and that you'll really understand why you want to do this. And some of those whys could be huge, huge benefits to you, your life, your family, maybe your friends even, your work. There's so many parts of your life that could benefit from this change. But at the end of the day, it's you and your life experience that gets the most benefit. And all of that benefit just rubs off on all of the people that are around you. And that's a really great thing for the world in general. Now, remember, these changes, they might seem like a really big deal to you, but I promise there's thousands upon thousands of other people that have followed exactly the same lifestyle principles, and they've got great results, and they've written about it on the internet, and they've told their friends about it, and all this kind of thing. They've emailed, they've phoned up, everything. There's thousands of people who've done these lifestyle principles. So even if you don't know any of them, I want you to feel like you're in good company when you're following these new principles in your life. Even if this is the biggest change that you've ever made in your life, there are football stadiums upon football stadiums full of people who are doing the same thing that you are. And that's really important to remember. If you're having one of those days where everyone around you at work is eating cake, or they're eating marshmallows in hot chocolate, or whatever the case may be, one of the key important things to remember is that those people, and that's your reference group, those people aren't the only people in the world. And I know that sounds really kind of simple, but in reality, your mind has trouble thinking about that unless you actually feed that information back into your mind at that critical time. So remember those football stadiums full of people. And if you walk into one of those football stadiums and ask every person that you sit near, hey, what's the lifestyle that you do? How do you eat? What do you do with your exercise? Do you exercise at all? They're all going to have similar answers. And all of those answers are going to start sounding very familiar once you go through the modules of Complete Bodyfat Control. So just keep that in mind, because I think it's really, really important to know that you're in good company and there's plenty of people out there who are doing the same thing that you're doing.